Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe. If you like what you see, hit the like button. Thank you very much for that. Before I go much further, I want to make the announcement again that my channel will be changing names the last week in May to the first week in June, somewhere in that area. It will now be called Black Hat Model Cars. YouTube says that it's going to be an easy transition. Nobody will notice, but I'm making the announcement just in case that doesn't happen. And if I fall off the map, well, you'll know where to find me. It'll be Black Hat Model Cars. Today I'm going to talk about NNL just a little bit. I know a lot of guys out there have videos. You've probably seen them. So I'm not going to spend much time on what I saw there. A little bit about the guys that I ran into and one of the cars that I took down. I ran into Ken from Model Building and Retirement. He was putting a pickup truck on the table right next to my stuff. And so I was able to talk to him for a few minutes about his channel and how busy he is with it. You know, he's doing a podcast every Friday night. And that's keeping him real busy. Plus he does a lot of neat things. I don't know what it is, whether it's AI or just something that's everybody's been able to do for years. I don't know. He puts himself into his models and next to his models and so forth. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting thing to watch. Ken's a real nice guy too, and his builds were great. I didn't realize that watching it on TV, but when he put them on the table, there's real nice builds he's got there. Also, I ran into and talked to Dylan Thomas. He was on Ken's podcast a couple weeks ago. Dylan's 25-year-old young man that built some fantastic stuff. One of the first ones I saw of his was a Volkswagen Beetle. I don't even know what you would call it, what class of car it would be, but it had widened fenders and all kinds of spoilers and stuff. It was just a great looking car. That's the first time I ran into him. That was at a Fulton, New York Model Show, which is just off Lake Ontario in New York State. And Dylan lives, I believe, in Binghamton. So I've seen him a few times, but I was able to talk to him Saturday at some length, and he's a great kid. Also, I was in line just a couple steps behind Jason from Blue Ox Models. Blue Ox Models something. I can't remember the name of his show. And basically, I didn't talk to him because of that. I didn't want to be, talking to a guy and not know exactly who he was. But he was there, and a couple of guys in front of us, and he was pretty busy talking with them, so I didn't get a chance to say anything to him. And then I ran into another one of the guests that Ken had on his show, Natalie Pruill. She was there, and I'm certain others. Doug White, he's got a channel. So it's a time to run into people that I didn't know other than on YouTube, TV, if you want to call it that. So it was kind of cool, running into people that are creators of, content creators and put together these shows. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna talk now about the car that I took down there. Last week I told you that I didn't know if it was going to make it because I was having some problems with it, and I'll explain that to you in just a second. One of the themes at the show was the 63rd anniversary of 1963, and this is a 63 Avanti that I stole from it was planned to go into my, what I call the Collector's Choice Storage diorama. They are all factory stock cars from 1925 to 2018 at this point. And this would have been the only Studebaker in that collection. But I stole it to make this, what you're seeing in front of you, a 1963 Avanti with a 63 Corvette split window top on it. I don't know. I thought it was kind of a neat idea. Originally, I thought Studebaker failed in 1963. So I was going to write up what do you want to call it? A fictitious or a fake story about how GM had bought Studebaker, and this was their first build together, if you will. Turns out Studebaker was alive until 1966, and I don't really know what happened to him. They probably just faded away. But anyway, I built this car. I thought it was kind of cool. The top I took off from here all the way around back to here, and did the same thing with the vet, and then grafted it on. And I used, for filler, I used joint compound that I found in a hardware store that you would use on the sheetrock of your house, but it said vinyl joint compound. So I thought, well, the vinyl should work on this plastic okay, and there you got it. It went in real nice. I won't say that I got it the first shot. I did a lot of work in getting it shaped the way it is. The windows are out of the Corvette roof and reshaped in this area to get the windshield onto this body. So what happened the night before, I was trying to finish this up. The body would not stay to the frame. They had to be pulled tight, as some of these kits are, you know. And I glued it several times, and it kept popping apart. So finally, I wrapped it in paper towel, pulled it together, and then taped it so that it would stay there, and I let it sit overnight. And if it was going to pop apart in the morning, the car wasn't going to go. But it stayed together, and so Friday I was able to put the bumpers on, the mirrors, the tailpipes. I don't know what else wasn't on it. I don't know. I don't think I had the parking lights painted. But I got it done in an hour or so on Friday morning, was able to take it with me. What happened was my glue, super glue, was getting kind of old, and it was getting thick, but it was also losing its strength, or whatever you want to call it, that glue is supposed to do. And so I'm trying to hold the frame and the body together long enough for it to dry, pop apart. And in the process of doing this 2 or 3 times, turning the car over, doing this, doing that, parts under the hood started coming off, parts of the engine started coming off, and it was getting real frustrating. So that's why I say I taped it up and let it sit there and decided, well, if it makes it, it makes it. So, and it did. Originally, I had swivel seats in it. The seats would swivel. I had them built on a pedestal, and they would swivel. But I failed to do my homework. And when it swiveled, the seat would hit the console and try to tip forward or tip sideways. So they really only swiveled just a tiny little bit. So that didn't make any sense. So they're in there just like the regular Avanti would be. The steering column I also had built so that it would slide to the right. And, so that you could get out. And I think Thunderbird did that a few years later on one of their maybe 65, 66 Thunderbird. I believe that's where I saw it. So, because my glue was bad, the things that were holding it in there didn't stay. And flipping it over, doing this, doing that, trying to get this thing together, things were just falling apart. So, it's built just like an Avanti. Everything is Avanti on this car now, except for that roof. And I just think it came out looking kind of neat. In my display, I don't know if I'm going to call it a custom or what I'm going to do. I've got to put it somewhere. It's obviously not stock, so it can't go where it was supposed to. But that's what it is. I felt real good about being able to get it there. There were several more Avantis, a black one and a charcoal one, and I think there was a blue one. Also real nice cars. Stock. They didn't have this nonsense going on that I did with this roof. And then there was a ton of 63 Impalas. I had one of those there, a pure stock 63 SS Impala. It was beige with brown interior, saddle interior, a duplicate, replica, whatever you want to call it, to my first car when I was a kid. Mine was a 283 automatic, which was a Power Glide then. With the SS wheel covers and all that. Something you'd like to have back if you could. But there was a lot of those, a lot of 63 Fords, which I think really is a 63 and a half. When they got that fastback on them, I think Ford calls that a 63 and a half Galaxy. But anyway, it was a 63. And couple of pickups, couple of 63 pickups. There was a lot of stuff there in that class. So that's about that car. Now, I went over to the vendor area, and I wanted to replace that Avanti with one to put back on the shelf. And I was looking around, and I found this one. So it was still, everything was in the wrappers inside, in the bags, inside. So I got this, which wasn't hard to buy if you see that price on there. $14. I didn't have to look for any more. I wasn't going to beat that price anywhere. Plus it had, like I say, it was still in the plastic bags inside. And this kit has some of that show car stuff, the stanchions that you put ropes through around show cars at the show. And I needed some of those for my display, for my show car diorama that I have in my house, in my display area. I got one of my dioramas as an indoor car show, so I've separated different cars with those stanchions. So they were in there. So for $14, I really did well, I think. So if you've watched my channel, you'll know that I'm a super stock drag fan. So I got this over there. I think this was $20. I think this was $20. There it is right there, $20. So that wasn't hard to take either. That was pretty easy to buy. Although I bought this one and the next one I'm going to show you from the same guy. And they were both $20. But that's what I had to pay. He didn't see why I should buy them for any less. Both, I believe, in the plastic bags. Yep. This one is, and so is the other one. One of them, I think the other one was still in the plastic wrapper on the outside. So I got this because I didn't have in the, 26, 28 super stock cars I got. I did not have this one. Roger Lindemuth I did not have. And then I got this Ramchargers one that's been out probably forever. I didn't have this one. For a long time, I didn't get it. I was afraid of these decals. I don't know what they're going to be like to put on. And I guess I still don't. But I'm going to give it a shot. I just looked in the box a couple minutes ago, and they are all one piece on top. It's not like a bunch of several stripes, and I don't have to paint the car. I think the Lawman 64 Plymouth, I have to paint. They didn't do the decals. I have to paint certain parts, change the color here somewhere and across the top. So that's going to be a little bit more difficult because you got to know exactly where to do it. And I didn't know if I was going to have to do that on here or not. But turns out I don't. The decals say, nope, I don't have to. Just paint it white, put them on. So that's a second super stock that I got. They both happen to be the Dodges. The third one I got, and you can see by that price, I didn't steal it, but I guess it's not a bad price after all. Ernie Beswick, Mr. Passionate Poncho. That, it is what it is. But I've got one other 62 Pontiac for a drag car, but it's not a nationally known driver. It's called the White Lightning, so it's a white car with blue stripes on the side and stuff. But I have an Ernie Beswick. It's the Comet, Mobius Comet. I got that to go with this car. So those are the things that I picked up. I got 3 photo etched sets. One for one of those Dodges, one for a Ford pickup. I think I bought 65, 66 Mobius Ford pickup, and a 67 Mustang. Those are the photo etch kits I got. Got some decals from STS. Decals to put on the side of a van. I got some lace stuff to do a custom with if I want to. And some other things, some hose, radiator hose and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. It's a good time. If you get a chance to go sometime, watch the other guys' videos that are out there. You see the kind of stuff that sits on the table. You go home thinking, man, I've got some work to do. This stuff really, really is top notch, and it's well worth going. And this vendor area is basically it's 2 gymnasiums full of vendors, from 3D to poured resin to used kits, old kits, new kits. AMT was there showing what they're going to be doing. I don't. It seems like one of the other manufacturers is there, but I forgot who it was. And then you got guys, selling real old stuff. You got guys selling just nothing but parts. It's quite interesting and quite a thing to go to. And it really isn't that expensive. I mean, you get into the show for $20. I don't know what spectators have to pay, but if you're entering models, it's $20 for as many as you want to bring. We got a hotel room. I got a hotel room for $78, and didn't bring anything back with me from that hotel room. Apparently, they got them cleaned up, so that was good. That's all I got. Enjoy. Have a good day, and see you next Thursday. Thank you.